Good result and a clean sheet Tuesday night. You must have been pleased.
Yeah, very. It was a good game, very good game. Boys played very well, and it was just something to build on now. We need to win back-to-back games.
And just looking at Tuesday, was it the case that lads needed a good start after so long on the training ground, but without a game, just to make sure there were no cobwebs there?
Yeah, definitely. It's hard when you don't play. Even after when you miss 1 week of a game, let alone 3 weeks, it's hard to get going again. But as long as you do the right things in training, there was no problem get going.
And training, of course, is very competitive anyway, isn't it? So even with that gap in games, there was no let up in the intensity, was there?
No, not at all. Well, the gaffer kept it. He based it on teams in training, so there was always like a red team and a white team, and you had to win, otherwise it was a forfeit. Hence why when we went back out there, we went out there with that same mentality of we have to win.
Up against a good team in Farsley on Tuesday night, 5 wins in a row, but a real professionalism about the performance as well, especially defensively, how it was seen out, yourself making that save late on in the end to keep the sheet clean as well.
Saves in that particular time of the game are they're not key, but they need to happen, because if you don't make that save, there was still 5 minutes left. That can change the game completely, that goal going in.
And how did you find it in the sense that you, as well as the break within matches that we've been talking about, you had your injury before that as well, you've had a little bit of a spell out. How's your last month or so been?
It's been good. Having the time when I was injured just to regather my head as well was good. But being back out there I enjoyed myself being back out there, and it's good to be back out there.
How did you evaluate that first block of games that you had then during that time where you were waiting to get back in, if you like? Because we talked about you coming here and getting competitive first team games. You got a good 8 to 10 matches before that bit of a break. How did you reflect on it?
Those things that could obviously be done better, more of a more focused things, like you always have to, the easy ones, as in an easy shot, you always have to focus on the most, because you take your eye off them for a second and you don't think about what you're doing, you can make a silly mistake, which is what happened on one of the goals.
And so often goalkeepers as well, given in their position, obviously those are the ones that are remembered quite a lot, aren't they?
Definitely. When you're a goalkeeper and you make a mistake, it can lead to a goal. If you're a striker, you make a mistake, it may lead to a throw-in or a goal kick. So it's hard. It's not hard being a goalkeeper, but having the pressure put on you when you make a mistake, you just have to regather yourself and carry on as like it didn't happen and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Talk about that pressure. How important has the competition been from the likes of Palms as well, and the other young goalkeepers within the club setup? He came into the team, kept some clean sheets, and puts pressure on you, and vice versa.
Yeah, definitely. Palms, very good goalkeeper, and it's not necessarily like we've got like a hate relationship. It's part of football. Like, you're gonna want to go in there and you're gonna want to play. Likewise, Palmer's gonna want to go in there and play. So it's like you're not like battling each other in a bad way. It's in a good way. Like, it's like competitiveness, but we're still very good friends.
You mentioned at the beginning of the interview the need for back-to-back wins. How important is that now? Because that's the next box for the lads to tick, isn't it?
Yeah, back-to-back wins is where we can build upon. So if we win Saturday, we can reflect on the last 2 games, what we've done well, and we can just keep taking that into each game, and that will help the lads' confidence. Instead of going from a win to maybe a draw to maybe another win to a loss, it's difficult to keep confidence or keep the momentum going, unlike if you were back-to-back wins.
Not easy, of course, on Saturday. Lynn, another of the teams flying high towards the top of the table. We talked about how Farsley had come and won 5 in a row. Lynn equally in some pretty decent forms. They're tough games, but ones the lads look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. Different teams play differently. It's, as you saw on Tuesday night, it was more of a long balls, we're dealing with long balls. Like this Saturday, it will be more defensive, not long balls. It will be more 1v1s, 2v2s. It won't be like keep smashing it up and down the pitch. It will be like proper game of football, like passing around each other, and all that type of stuff.
And sign of a good team that you're able to hopefully go toe to toe with teams who do either, really.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's not going to be pretty football all the time. You're gonna need to grind in and make sure you do win games especially when it's when you're 1-0 up and you're in the last seconds. You need to grind games out. It can't always be passing to each other all the time. It just might be just getting the ball and kicking it long every time and getting it away from your goal.